Hello everyone, Disciple here with Hearthstone Curios. You could definitely argue that the Cabal is the most influential faction from Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, since TheKamshHS is being played in tons of decks and a lot of other powerful cards from the Cabal are being seen in a lot of tier 1 decks like Reno Lock and Reno Mage. But the designs for the Cabal's mechanics actually changed a few times during development, and they almost got a really cool mechanic called red mana crystals. Mike Donay, one of Hearthstone's devs, recently gave an interview to IGN about some of the cool designs they had for the Cabal faction, so let's jump right in and take a look. Originally, the Cabal was really focused on mana and looking at ways to explore spending or not spending mana that were different from traditional Hearthstone gameplay. Initially, the Cabal's key mechanic had to do with rewarding you for spending all of your mana in one turn. However, the devs didn't really like that very much, since you were already ahead since you could spend all your mana since you were playing on curve, and making you win even harder for that when you were ahead didn't really make a lot of sense. The devs also looked at giving you some kind of effect if you didn't spend all your mana, for example firing an arcane missile for each point of mana not spent. Still, they decided that this wasn't a great mechanic either, since leaving mana up kind of felt counterintuitive and like they were rewarding you for the wrong thing. One more thing the devs explored with the Cabal and mana related mechanics was red mana crystals. The idea was that there would be a bunch of different cards in the set that could turn some amount of your mana crystals into red mana crystals. There would also be cards that got different effects or buffs if you had a certain number of these red mana crystals. This definitely does seem like a cool mechanic, kind of similar to the Jade mechanic, although it doesn't really have a lot to do with mana crystals since it didn't actually affect how you spent them. The red mana crystals were just used as a tool to be a counter and keep track of something else, and although changing the color of mana crystals might look kinda cool, ultimately the ability just doesn't really have anything to do with spending or not spending mana, which was sort of the original intent for it. According to the devs, they ended up scrapping red mana crystals because they tried a couple of things with them and didn't really like any of them, and in the end they just felt like red mana crystals weren't well designed enough to be used in the game. In addition, the mana crystals probably wouldn't display very well on mobile, and that ended up being the nail in the coffin for the Cabal having red mana. So how did the devs eventually decide on Reno-like or Highlander effects being the core mechanic for the legendaries in the Cabal? Well, according to Mike Donay, Reno decks are some of the most popular among the player base, and some of the players like Reno and want Reno decks to be good. At the time, before the release of Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, Reno wasn't quite tier 1, and so the devs decided to help out the archetype by giving it more cards. Additionally, the Highlander requirement would let the devs put really powerful effects on these legendaries, which fits the Cabal's theme of really strong cards and power at any cost. All in all, Highlander effects ended up being a perfect mechanic for the legendaries in the Cabal, and potions ended up nicely filling out the rest of the cards as well. But it would definitely be cool to see some type of red or other different type of mana types in the future, either used as a counter or even to change the way that you do spend mana. So those are some of our favorite mechanics that the Cabal could have had, but I'd like to know what you guys think about red mana crystals and how you feel the Cabal turned out overall. Anyway, it looks like that's gonna be it from me. If you guys liked the video, I'd love it if you drop a like, but if not, that's okay. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Peace.